Hello everyone. This is probably this is the first live stream that I'm recording. We're going to install the FreeBSD and I'll do this in real time. I done this a couple times already in the past. I pre-recorded the steps, then I got some feedback in comments below of those videos, and I just would like to repeat what I did then, but with little twist right now. So there is a new FreeBSD version 13.0. It came out a month ago. Right now it's June 17th. So on April 13th, 2021, we got a release announcement of FreeBSD 13.0. So what's the goal of today's video? The goal of today's video is to install a FreeBSD 13.0 on real hardware. And instead of using a camera recording the screen, I'll right now use Camlink to actually grab the HDMI output actually, and present this on the screen. So the output and quality will be really high-end, I hope. So let's switch to the screen, and I would like to mention one thing. I have FreeBSD 13.0 installer on my USB flash drive, and machine on which I'm going to install the FreeBSD 13.0. It's a little bit unusual. It's AMD Ryzen 9 3950X, which is 16-core processor, 32 threads. I have a 64 gigabytes of RAM. And I have actually two GPUs, which are one of the newer ones. They're not the high-end, but they are the newer ones. Nvidia RTX 2060. So you see here is a AMD Ryzen 9 with the CPU with the Nvidia GPU. Since I installed the Linux before and the FreeBSD before on this hardware, I know what to expect and I know what kind of issues will happen, so I'll try to explain how to resolve them, how to troubleshoot them, and how to get the system working. So idea is to get the FreeBSD installed on this hardware and get to the GUI, like desktop environment, with the whole login manager and everything. And in next live session, I'll record and stream from the FreeBSD. So that's the goal. The goal is to get the system working, so as soon as possible we can get all this recording from FreeBSD. Currently, I'm using a Linux, Arch Linux actually, for recording and streaming, but in the future I'll use the FreeBSD, hopefully. So without further ado, let's start. So I'll just reboot my machine. And this is not a virtual machine, this is a real hardware. So we don't get some isolated sandbox environment where everything just works, and this is like real machine. Okay, so this is a screen where I should select the installation drive. I already have, as I said, Ubuntu installed on the first SSD. I have a FreeBSD installed on the second one, and we're going to override the FreeBSD here and reinstall it. And then I have the installer on USB. So I'll proceed with this one, the installer on the USB. Nothing special here. Let's start installer. All right. So welcome to FreeBSD. Would like to begin an installation or use live CD installation. Key map selection. Continue with default key map. Please choose a host name for this machine. I'll just use simple FreeBSD. All right. Choose optional system components to install. I usually install the base debug, kernel debug, lib32 debug, lib32 ports, and source. This is my standard installation. I don't need tests, honestly, because I don't do any kernel development at the moment. I think these tests are for the kernel. I'll just continue. Network installation. Some installation files were not found on the boot volume. The next few screens will allow you to configure network so that you can download from the internet. Yes. I have actually the FreeBSD recognized Ethernet gigabit, Intel gigabit adapter, and also recognized Wi-Fi adapter on USB stick. I'll go with the Ethernet adapter here, gigabit one. Would you like to configure IPv4 for this interface? Yes, please. Dear CPU, please, acquisition failed. Would you like to use DHCP to configure this interface? Yes. It obviously succeeded. Would you like to configure IPv4 for this interface? Yes. Why not? Would you like to try stateless address? Okay. I don't have IPv4, honestly, network, so I don't use it, I don't need it, but let's just try it. Okay. So IPv4 DNS, I'm not going to use this default one. I'm going to use 111. This is Cloudflare, and I usually use this in combination with Google. Just to tell you, when I'm on airports or on public Wi-Fi, sometimes 1111 as DNS doesn't work. I really don't know why, but I think the problem is with the routers. Some kind of maybe outdated software, firmware, or whatever. Okay, please select the site closest to your or other if you'd like to specify a different choice. Let's go with default one. Guided, okay, partition. How would you like to partition your disk? So I'll go out to ZFS, guided route on ZFS. Before we go there, I'll rescan them and disk info, let's see. On the first one, as I said, we have NVD 0, that's where I have Ubuntu and I don't want to override it. And on NVD 1, I already have the FreeBSD and we're going to actually rewrite over that one and reinstall the FreeBSD. So everything will be formatted and then recreated from the scratch. So everything will be lost here. Make sure you make the backups and you choose the right drive. I don't install multiple operating systems on the same hard drive. Hard drives are really inexpensive. Depends from your scenario. If you like these kind of things, I really don't. I like to keep operating systems separated from one from each other, one operating system per hard drive, multiple partitions. So I'm going to go with NVD. Let's go back. All right, so pool type disks. I'm going to use strip, no redundancy, and I'm going to select NVD1. Okay, pool name will be zeroed, which is default. Force 4K sectors, yes, which is default. Encrypt the disk, no. Partition scheme, GPT, BIOS plus UEFI, yes. Swap size 2 GB, that's default. Mirror swap, no. Encrypt swap, no. And then we're going to proceed with installation. Here I'll be asked last time, are you sure you want to destroy the current contents of the following disk NVD1? I'm sure, but make sure you select the correct one. If you're not sure, just disconnect all drives and just leave one drive for which you're certain it's the right one on which you want operating system installed. Otherwise, you might destroy the system. Since this is installation of FreeBSD, a basic one, you're probably one of the users who is looking for the way to install the FreeBSD on your real hard drive. If you're installing this in a virtual machine, you really don't need to care. if you're not already pre-existing virtual machine. So let's continue. And right now, this is going to take some time. While it gets installed, I'll play some music for you, and I'll wait for this process to end. Patching distribution. In the meantime, if you would like to ask a question, ask me anything in live chat. Just be polite. All right. Says FreeBSD installer, please select the password for the system management account root. Type characters will not be visible. Change local password for root. New password, I'll type some generic password. Retype it. Is this machine CMOS clock set to UTC? If it's set to local time or you don't know, please choose no. All right, I'll say no just to make sure I don't make a mistake. And I'll follow instructions basically. That's all you need to do. Select the region. I'm currently in Europe, in an exotic country called Serbia. Does the duration CST look reasonable? Yes. Skip setting date and time. Yes. And now system configuration. Choose the services you would like to be started at boot. I'll select NTP date and NTPD power D. The reason is I need my date and time synchronized, and also I need to be able to adjust the CPU frequency dynamically. I really hope it works for this CPU. And the system hardening, here I use only clear TMP. I would like that my temporary file system is cleared on the system startup, so I don't assume that files stay there when I restart the computer, reboot the computer. I never assume TMP, any file there is there at all after the process is closed, but just to make sure. That's basically the only one I need. Would you like to add users to the installed system now? Yes. Username, I'll use my username. You use yours, which you like. Fantastic. Full name is Marco. Fantastic. UID, leave empty for default. Login group mtastic. Login group is mtastic. Invite user to other groups. Yes, I would like to add mtastic to will group. So I'm able to switch users. Login class default. Shell default. Home directory is home mtastic. Yes. Home directory permissions, leave empty for default. Yes. Use password-based authentication. Yes. Use an empty password. No. Use a random password. No. Enter the password. Again, I'm using something generic, so if I make the mistake and you see the password, I don't have any damage. Lock out the account after the creation. No. Is this correct? Yes, that's correct. Would you like to add another user? No. And now I'll exit. It will ask me to reboot. And when the reboot process starts, I'm going to remove installation media, which is the USB flash drive. Okay, reboots. And now we're moving. And while it gets rebooted, I'll just wait. Hello, Magdi. All right, so now we are asked to enter the username and the password. We're on a login screen, so let's log in as root and let's type password. Oh. Okay, it worked. No, this is the real machine. It's not virtual machine. I'm actually using the AMD Ryzen 9 with combination with CPU with combination with the Nvidia RTX 2060 2 GPUs. So we're going to install the whole operating system, which we just did, and then install the GUI. All right, so now let's update package. Yes. Great. Also, let's upgrade. And now I need some basic tools so I can continue working. You can search the package manager that we used, which is built in FreeBSD. It's pkj package, and then I'll say search for, let's say, Vim. And there are actually, I think, two Vim packages. One is like graphical, which require Xorg and Ruby and everything, and another one is Vim minimal, if I'm correct, which just installs the console Vim, which I really need. That's everything I need. But let's see. Yeah, it's called actually Vim console. So pkj install Vim console. Yes, I need this so I can edit configuration files. How did you manage to have a nice resolution during a booting? Oh, that's a good question. I actually have one of these devices that I can plug into USB on machine where I'm recording on Linux, and then have a separate machine and connect that separate machine via HDMI cable with the machine from which I'm streaming. In this case, I'm using the Linux machine. So the device I use, it's called Camlink. You can Google for it. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. I don't promote any, there is no paid promotion or anything. I'm just telling you what I have. So you can also connect your cameras, you can connect your phones, you can connect other computers via HDMI, mini HDMI, micro HDMI, whatever, and have this recorded on one machine and then have a live streaming or recorded. In a previous videos, if you remember, I recorded the screen with a camera and it was bluish, and the device costs like $100, something like that. There is also one relationship on Amazon, which is like 20-30 bucks. Also great one. Depends on your budget, both work. So, Hello Comfortably Numb, my favorite song. My FreeBSD desktop always is so sluggish. Well, it depends on what kind of hardware you have, how did you set up your machine, are you using proper drivers or not. In this case, we're going to use proprietary Nvidia drivers. That's the way how Nvidia packages drivers, but that's the devil we have to accept if we want to get the performance system here. It's not that bad, but let's continue. Okay, so right now I'll continue with the Xorg. So I'll say pkg install Xorg, yeah, and I'll also install XFCE and XFCE4 goodies. So XFCE is my desktop environment. It's desktop environment of my choice. I use it daily. I like it. I use it across the different operating systems. In the past, I used the GNOME, Mate, GNOME 3, KDE. Like, they're all great, but I really like XFCE. That's closer to my taste. Besides that, what else do we need? I think we need dbus as well, and we need LightDM and LightDM JTK greeter. I hope that's right. If something is wrong, it'll tell us what package doesn't exist. So right now, the number of packages to be installed is 454. A lot of packages. The process will require 2 GB more space, all right, and we'll download 394 megabytes. Process with this section. Yes, please. In the meantime, while we wait, you can ask a question, you can type it. I'll play some music, so it's not really boring. Time required for this process depends on 2 things. Number 1 is your network connection, and number 2 is the mirror you selected. I selected the default one, and I rarely change that, even if it's low. I believe the defaults are right. Pedro, I will install the Pulse Audio, but I got the critique that I should stay away from it on FreeBSD. Just to be clear on something, I use FreeBSD. I force myself to use FreeBSD. I use it daily for different things, but I come from Linux world, so have a have understanding for my background. I was criticized for using a sudo instead of doas. Alright, I'm trying to be more BSD-ish, but I'm giving my best. Would you show us how you configure your VT console driver? Have a nice resolution after install? I have tried a lot, but I was successful with the resolution of the VT module. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. There is one reason. This cam link that I use, it's actually 4K. And if I set up a VT console, it will automatically be like, it'll automatically increase the resolution. Everything will be like really small on the screen. It'll be really hard to follow. You will see this effect once we configure Xorg, LightDM and XFCE, and we actually log into XFCE. Then the resolution will switch to 4K, and that's actually because the cam link by default captures the resolution of 4K and it acts like the 4K monitor display. Once I switch from using the Linux as I use it right now to stream this installation to stream from a FreeBSD machine, then I'm going to do all sorts of configuration and you'll be able to see it, hopefully. For this session right now, I'm installing everything on the real hardware on a separate machine, and again capturing just the display output from the Linux machine and streaming this to YouTube. Right, so while it's getting installed, I'll tell you a little bit of my background. I'm a software developer, system architect. I play a lot with servers, with the Linux containers. That's my main thing. I also develop all sorts of software from really low level to a really high level. It's a really broad spectrum, and I depend a lot on the Docker containers, and that's the reason why I have Linux, and I'll get Linux installed also in this live session, so you can see how you can install it in the Beehive as a virtual machine, and then bridge that Linux with the Docker and the FreeBSD. So I'll code and spend my time in FreeBSD, but just get this whole thing executed like Docker and containers and orchestration in the Linux virtual machine. So you see, I use a software on FreeBSD that I'm familiar with. I like really what I find in the ports. That's what I need basically. But when I don't have it there, then I switch to virtual machine in the FreeBSD. Or I also set up like the compatibility layer, which uses actually Alpine. I also have videos recorded on this topic, so you can check them if you're interested. Again, I'm going to probably re-record all of these sessions to be live. I'm going through basically the whole process, how I think, how I reason, how I look for the resources online. Just to show you, I have on my list my Linux machine. I have here the browser open in case I need some help or instructions. And the rest is on a separate display where I just have my FreeBSD screen output. Okay, so that's done. Right now what we need is Nvidia driver. And besides driver, I'll just type Nvidia driver and it'll download this one. However, I also need Nvidia Xconfig because I need Xconfig to xconfig to set up my xorg configuration file so we can see nice GUI. So worked by this enough to have 2K resolution during a booting. Current VT equals VT. Current VT frame buffer default mode is 1920x 1080. It doesn't work for me. We can try it, but I would not like to break something and then not be able to continue with the streaming. So I'll maybe try this in the next video, but thank you for the suggestion. Pedro, the two things that pushes me away from BSD is the lack of DRM, like DRM for the videos, and some proprietary software like Microsoft Teams and stuff from college. All right, for DRM, you can run, as I said, virtual machine, Linux there, and just grab the screen in the FreeBSD, and you'll be fine. So the whole DRM software, it's actually in the Linux virtual machine and just displays in FreeBSD. And I think also I have the videos on this topic. I'll record them again. About the Microsoft Teams, I can tell you that you can use the web version. I know it works in Chromium. Stuff from college, yeah, probably there is something that you don't have. Whenever you need software that doesn't work on FreeBSD, just get it installed in virtual machine. Set up the X11 forwarding over an SSH, and then have just display in the FreeBSD and everything. It's actually executed inside the virtual machine. So that's the way to bridge these two worlds. And whenever you find a software that doesn't exist on FreeBSD or it doesn't behave correctly, you can run it somewhere else. Emilio, hi Marco, thanks for the great videos. Love your work. Greetings from Switzerland. Hello. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue. PJ, install Nvidia driver, and I'm also going to install Nvidia xconfig. Yes, so this is closed software, closed source software. We get binaries from Nvidia, which is good enough. All right, and there is something we need to follow here. Thank you, Pedro, I really appreciate it. Okay. So first thing is we need to load Nvidia driver, and for this I'll actually use my second console. For the new people here, you can use you can select with mouse in FreeBSD in one console, and then go to another one and just have a middle mouse click. That's all you need, and it just pastes there. All right, right now we loaded the Nvidia driver. So we need this to be persistent. So let's correctly add Nvidia to KLD list. But one more thing here, use mode set. That's the one you need. You can check to etc. Just one moment, maybe there is something extra we need to do. Oh yeah, we need Linux enable, yes. Okay, so we need Linux compatibility layer now. For that, we'll go through that right now, immediately. So I'm right now going to switch to a different screen and find the documentation. By the way, for FreeBSD is amazing. I love it. I love it. It's really nice to navigate. It looks old school. Trust me, you need old school documentation. It's really straightforward. So we need, we're looking for Linux binary compatibility. Yes. All right, right now I'm going to manually load this driver. So I'll say KLD load Linux 64 actually. And I'm also going to add that to KLD list, just Linux. Oh. Or I can say Linux enable equal yes. Let's do that, it's better. Enable yes. We're going to right now install pkg install. Just to show you quickly, I'm following the instructions from the link shown before, from the handbook. pkg install Linux base C7. And this is going to install some default software from the CentOS version 7. It looks like the subsystem inside of a FreeBSD. Yes. And in this process, we are going to get some instructions what we need to do. So right now we need to set up fstab and these mounting points. So you see, every time I see some instructions, I open another console, like Alt F1, Alt F2, Alt F3, and so on. And then I can switch with Alt F2 here and just see instructions. And I see that here instruction is open etc fstab, and this is the place where we actually configure the mount points. We have the default ones here. And right now I'm just going to copy paste the one that I need for the Linux binary compatibility. So I just follow the instructions from here. Usually you get all instructions in console when you install something. It's really nice to just do a double check documentation. So whatever I'm doing is actually here. But feel free to follow both of them. It doesn't hurt. Then we need linfsys. Just select and the middle click on the mouse pastes. And then there is tmpfs. That's it. And now, instead of rebooting computer, I'm going to manually mount them. Again, follow the instructions from the console. Output. Done. Done. And one more. Done. All right, so right now there is a catch, and I'll first show you the problem. Again, I have two GPUs, Nvidia, obviously two different PCI slots. So the way how Nvidia Xorg configures this, it's incomplete. And when I start Xorg server, it doesn't work. And it complains, cannot find the driver, cannot find the device, something like that. But let's see what's happening. So I'll just first configure. I'll say Nvidia xconfig, and it says new configuration. Configuration is written to etc x11 xorg conf. As you see, it writes to old place where xorg configuration is. It's not in user local, but I'll continue with this one. So let's start. Since I installed the start XFCE, I can say start. I'll go first. Start XFCE 4. It fails. We can check the log right now. So I'll just say cat var log x11, and it says no device detected. You can see it here. So what's the problem here? The problem is with the bus ID where xorg looks for the device. By default, it looks at the first PCI. However, my two GPUs or some other slots. How to find that? You type PCI config --l, and then you get a list. It's the huge list. I think we can filter by just saying grep VGA. All right, let's clear. And right now I get these two entries in which I'm interested in. So, two graphic cards. First one is on PCI 0, 10, 1000. And the second one is on PCI 0, 1100. So I'm going to configure this one as the bus ID. I'll right now switch to a browser. Let's see, xorg bus ID. Let's see the syntax for that one. Right, so the syntax is bus ID, PCI, and then we type column 10, column 0, column 0. Okay. Vim, let's see, x11 xorg conf. Go to device 0, it's here, and type bus ID PCI 10, in my case 0, 0, whatever was the output in your case, you have to specify it here. That should be it. X, and right now if I start XFCE 4, it should work. If it doesn't work, we'll get back to the drawing board. It looks like we have some frame buffer. I'll right now reboot. I'll try to actually get out of here, but nope. Oh, yes, it actually worked. So hello. Check one more thing. Let's see. Okay, that comfortable now. Also have some problems with my Nvidia card and FreeBSD 13. Yeah, I don't know if you have output or not, but if you can't get output, this is probably the reason why. And xorg working. Now. Let's actually edit RC. Let's reboot. Send mail. I don't need that daemon running. So I'm going to disable that. I just need this one added. All right. It takes quite a lot some time actually to give up. It's really interesting why send mail by default gets, it actually tries to start. Still. All right, so kill this stat. Let's check which drivers are loaded. All right, Nvidia mode set and Nvidia, great. That's what I need. Now I'm going to first, as I said, disable send mail equals none. And there is one more thing I would like to do while I'm here, and that's the bus. Should be results. All right, we need this. The bus enable. Yes. All right, so we have it started. Right now, I'm going to configure LightDM. So Vim user local etc lightdm lightdm.conf. Go to sit configuration and find greater session. So it's here. And type LightDM GTK greater session LightDM GTK greater. Yes, that's the one. Yes. Right now, if I say service LightDM start, and I think it's called actually, let's go start, but it's actually called one start. Yes. We should get the GUI working. Voila! We just got GUI working. That's nice. That was actually the whole point of this video. So we saw the issue with the multiple GPUs, with GPUs not recognized in the default positions. So you need to specify bus ID in the X11 xorg conf file. There was issue before I rebooted. So idea is to get this LightDM actually started every time I reboot. I can right now actually log in for the first time. So let's see if it works. Let's check this is a 4K screen, as you can see. I'll try to change the resolution, but I know the changing resolution breaks OBS for some reason and the driver for the cam link. So in the case it breaks, I'll just continue talking and I'll explain a little bit more, and I'll need to end the video here. So in the future, I'll record the videos actually from the FreeBSD, and I will continue installing and configuring system. Maybe next thing can be getting the webcam D working and OBS. I know that OBS depends on the Linux binary compatibility, which we already set up. But we also need webcam D because I need to use this webcam from FreeBSD and continue recording from there. All right. However, drawback is that when I restart machine, you won't see this the whole thing going on from the beginning. You won't see the BIOS and UEFI and all these settings that you can currently see. Without further ado, let's just check the default desktop environment, and here it's XFCE. It's tiny, and for the first time I'll log into my account. So this is how XFCE looks first time you set it up. So right now I'll do something stupid in case it breaks. We'll see each other in next video and I'll just continue talking for a little bit. Application settings, display. No, this is desktop. Displays here. It says there is actually scale here. I didn't know this, but let's switch to this is too small, man. Let's try first maybe to scale fonts. I think that's done in appearance. Dark, please. Oh, At least I can read what's on the screen. Now go to display and change to this one. 60, rotation, reflection, apply. I hope we don't break it. Huh. So I'll remove it. Yes. Oh, actually it worked. Huh, that was nice. No, it reverted back to one more try and accept it. I think it's accepted now. Remove source, add source again. I know this is tedious. Okay. Transform the screen. Yes, please. And now. Yes, we got it working. Excellent. So one last thing is I would like to get back to my normal scale. The reason why I did this is when I'm in 4K, for some reason, I think that this USB capture cannot handle that well the 4K. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a driver. Everything gets sluggish. Everything is slow on the screen. Okay, so let's go to appearance settings. One, yes, please. Close, and we are fine now. Excellent. So we're not done yet. I will reboot to make sure that send mail is not loaded, and also to set up the LightDM daemon. So next time I reboot machine, I actually boot to GUI. I don't have to go to console and log in from there and start the XFCE and Xorg server and everything manually. I might actually keep this going since we had a success. I will attach webcam and set up webcam D. That webcam is actually one of the older ones, and I know it works correctly. Actually, I have a new one. So this is like 1080 webcam, and I'm going to attach this one to FreeBSD machine. So step by step. Okay. So again, I have to remove source, add the video capture device, selected, yes. Control F. Excellent. We're actually on login screen, so it boots much faster than before, as you can see. Now I'm going to go to pin@crc.conf and add LightDM LightDM enable equals yes. All right, nice. So let's reboot one more time. Yeah, I was criticized also for running reboot and not gracefully killing like the old programs. Right now I'm doing that correctly. I'm letting you know that I read your comments. There are two more things I have to correct in my everyday use of FreeBSD. Number one is to use do as instead of sudo. And the second one is actually to use a sysrc command for configuring etc/rc.conf. In the meantime, if you have any questions or would you like to say something, feel free. I'll just try to read the comment and leave my comment on that. Awesome. We are going to LightDM. Excellent. We're there. And log in. And right now the resolution is... So I need to detach again. And attach. Yep. We are back. Excellent. So the next thing is let's install the proper browser. I like Firefox. You probably use something different. I'm not really opinionated about that. I like Firefox because of the historical reasons. That's the one I used since a long time ago. So let's see if we actually need to configure something for this. I guess no. That's it. There's some stuff I'd like to change here, such as this. And I'm going to delete the bottom panel. Excellent, it's deleted now. Firefox works as expected. That's nice. You don't see my search history, so you can't make jokes. So FreeBSD webcamd. Daemon, which provide access to USB webcam, USB DVB, USB radio, USB input, USB tablet, and more devices. Yes, that's the one we need. So let's follow the instructions. It says requires the queues kernel model to load the driver as a module at a boot time. Place the following line. Okay. So we're just going to follow instructions. vim bootloader.conf. Okay. So we need this one. And we have one more. Which is the daemon for webcam D. And we also need to install the webcam package. All right, Emilio has some question. Okay, I have a question, Marco. I have a new Lenovo X11 Carbon 8th generation. When I run FreeBSD from external SSD via USB 3, it's freezing after a while and I have to power off and restart. Can you give me a hint of where I find information about the problem in the FreeBSD system? I think the right place to ask this is a FreeBSD forum. If you go to freebsd.org, why it gets frozen on the SSD, I really doubt the problem is it with SSD. Might be something else. Have you tried to install FreeBSD on internal hard drive? Maybe find the spare hard drive and try to install, like replace the one in the laptop with the spare one and install their FreeBSD and see if that happens again. If it happens again, it's probably some configuration issue. Also, does it freeze when it go to sleep or in the middle of your work where you interacted with the system? Let me know in the comments. I actually had a lot of this in the process of testing of the beta versions of FreeBSD and then RCs, but the final one, the one I'm installing right now, it's really, I didn't have any of these issues, as you can see. So Emilio says not yet. That will be a next try. I'll try and ask in the forum then. Thanks. When I'm in the GNOME desktop. Oh, and I'm working. All right. So I have problems with the GNOME. I can't get the GNOME and the GDM working. So at least you have it working. I don't know if you have GDM working, but I don't. So for me, it doesn't even start. It starts completely like grayish and nothing is interactive. So I have to reboot and just use LightDM and XFCE. I tried GNOME on FreeBSD recently and it didn't work. And also a lot of more people actually complained. So it's not only me. You're a lucky one, trust me. Try actually, that might be a good like exercise. Try LightDM, follow the instructions, go back to this video once the stream ends, and maybe try to set up LightDM with the LightDM JTK Greeter and XFCE, and then see if this happens. If it happens, it might be a GNOME issue. Who knows? Oh, I installed it with desktop install script. I never did that. Okay, so now we need pkg install webcam D. Yes, please. All right, there is actually more we need to do. Okay. All right, let's manually load this module. Great, it's automatically added, right? This is done, let's see. And now please restart the EVD to start webcam D. Huh. Okay. Done. and also add the current user to group webcam D. And pay attention, here is a -m lower m. That means don't replace the current list of the users for this group, just concatenate, add the one that you want. So I'll say fantastic, that's me. You type your user here. You can check where you belong if you type cat etc group. So you see here, that's where I belong. And I also belong to wheel. So I can execute su, command su, switch user. Okay, is this everything? Yes, that's all we need. All right. Right now I'm going to install the OBS and test. Actually, I don't need OBS. I can. Let's close it. And new. Let's restart actually machine to make sure everything is right. I want to make sure that the driver gets properly loaded and there are no artifacts or something, or not persistent configuration. Because for me, webcam is essential thing. I don't want every time to figure out what's going on every time I reboot my computer. So I'll figure it out once for all. Right. You can directly reboot from XFCE. And I never save sessions. I'm not into that. I like to close my session completely and then reopen the blank slate. Small break. Robonagi, yeah, he has a really, Mila says, for your information, Robonagi on YouTube has a video of how he's installing it with the script. Yeah, he has really good videos, actually. I really enjoy them. There are not a lot of BSD creators, YouTube creators. And I think this is really nice niche and everyone can do that. Okay, let's again remove. Let's get again. Okay, we're back. So let's test right now and see if we can get webcam working. Maybe the easiest is to go somewhere, yes, default one, like WebRTC test or example. Oh, video for video to video. I don't need that. I need join. Yes, it's actually recognized HD Pro webcam C920 microphone. Yeah, let's hope that's the one. Allow. It works. You see, this is my second webcam. It's on a FreeBSD. It's exactly the same model that I use here on Linux. What you see on Linux, there might be some filters or also maybe some angle. Let's actually put it next to the... Oh, it's pretty much, yeah, that's the one. So I want to show you quickly how I actually capture whole thing. There, as I said, there are two computers, as you can see. I have the webcam attached. This one is actually where is this machine, where is FreeBSD installed, and here in this one I have the Arch. Linux, as I said, the Linux one has this CAN link, Elgato CAN link 4K, which is connected to USB, and here's just the HDMI connected to a first HDMI output of the first card, which is Nvidia, on PCI 10 slot here. In the process of installation, you probably also saw this Wi-Fi. It was recognized. This is connected on USB, so it works fine. I tested it before and it was fine, so I have to trust in my word. Okay. So one more problem solved. As you can see, there is nothing slow on, it's not sluggish. There is really no issue on FreeBSD. In the past, on the beta 1, beta 2 versions, when I run WebD, I really had issues. Like the frames were dropping. I don't see them dropping at all here. I had a problem with resolution. I had a problem with the computer. It froze. So right now all of this seems resolved, and I know it's not everything with the modules and the kernel. I know that also webcamd had this issue and it was known exactly for this camera, and that's one of the reasons why in some videos on FreeBSD, while recording in FreeBSD and stream them from FreeBSD, I used the lower quality older camera, because I knew it was supported. So next thing is, I would like to install the OBS, and OBS is actually it's Linux binary in a FreeBSD. That's what I think, but let's see. PKJ. Okay, so let's do so. Have to be root to execute package. Search OBS Studio. Yeah. So package install. I was wrong actually. This is the native app. So this is not the Linux app. And I could bet it was a Linux app emulated on the FreeBSD. All right, let's see what's here. I think that's it actually. Let's now try multimedia OBS Studio. Oh, they have to fix this. Optimize for streaming, recording, secondary. Yeah, let's try that. Current resolution. Yeah, it's okay. I actually use a... Next. They have to fix the icon. It's not properly loaded for OBS. Here it's fine in the window list, but here when you go multimedia, it's not. Another problem that I had with the OBS, that's exactly this one, is there is only a software encoder for H.264 codec. Apply settings, all right. Let's add, let's add actually screen capture, yeah. Thank you. And also let's add capture device, yes please. And the camera works. Believe it or not, when I leave resolution and frame rate unchanged on FreeBSD, it works better than on Linux. I'm not kidding. Like I had to lower the resolution and everything here on the one where I'm actually recording. Okay. So we also have OBS working. That's really nice. And let's actually try to record, start recording. I'm not able actually to hear myself. There is no microphone connected to this machine. I'll test it when I next time record the video from FreeBSD. Another problem that you can see right now, from time to time, it gets frozen and the source restarts, which is in this case webcam, but it's fine. After it stabilizes, everything is fine. Oh, now it's getting like, who knows, but I'm not really connected to a real desk, to a real monitor at the moment. There might be something else here, the issue. And I really hate that there is only software encoder for OBS. I really quickly check if there is a way actually to have the hardware encoder. If not, I'll need to live with this one. All right, everything stopped. Let's... It's here. Open with VLC, continue. Everything works fine, as you can see. And you can see frame rate drop. And this is not in the playback. This is actually while it was recorded. In a preview, it looked fine, but actually how it was recorded, there was some issue, as you can see. I'll investigate this, and once I'm actually connected fully on FreeBSD machine with the desktop and everything, and see if this repeats. So there is no also delay over this cam link that I use. But so far so good. I'm really happy with the final result. What else can we do? On the XFCE, I like it's normal thing to listen music since I use Pulse Audio. Let's first search for Pulse and say pkg install Pulse Audio Pablo control. And also I need the plugin for XFCE4 so I can control it. And the one that I use, it's actually this one. XFCE4 Pulse Audio plugin. So all these three software are the one that I also use on Linux. So you see there is a lot of like parallels within the FreeBSD and the Linux. They come from the similar family of the operating systems. Linux is more and more diverging, but BSD and FreeBSD stays honest to POSIX and Unix legacy. Is there a way to install the Vivaldi browser based on Chrome on FreeBSD? I don't know. We can try now. Let me just finish this thing. So you can go to multimedia and then say pulse audio volume control. All right, so that's fine. Here I'll add just installed volume plugin. Oh, it's here, pulse audio plugin, yes. So you can use the mouse actually to change the volume up and down. You can also do a property, if you click maybe this, yeah, audio mixer. That's nice. There is also, you can select the default devices. Yeah, that's the one. So maybe with Linux later. Yeah, Linux later is actually the Linux binary compatibility layer in FreeBSD. What we can do with that one? Let's first see Vivaldi, if there is Vivaldi. There is not here. Let's say user ports, where this should be in X11, I guess, or internet. Is there internet? Yeah, there is no Vivaldi here. Yeah, it's not here. I tried. It's not in www. Huh. Okay, I think we should end this session here. Since this is my first live stream, it was successful. We were able to install the completely GUI desktop environment, everything in the stuff that I need. Next time I will play with the Beehive, and idea is once I have it working with the Linux, I will show you how to open the graphical apps in the FreeBSD that execute inside of the Linux to have GPU pass-through, since I have two GPUs exactly the same, and maybe try to run the game, one of the Steam games that I like, and see if it's working. And I that was one of the videos that was mostly requested, so this was actually a great success. Thank you everyone for being with me all this time, last, yes, couple hours recording, hour and a half actually, hour and a half. I'll keep recording these sessions. I'm looking for the comments, for the feedback. If you didn't like something, please tell me. That's the way also how I learn. Idea is to use this machine on a daily basis. I already have a different machine where is a FreeBSD, but I'm switching to this, to the newer one, because the hardware is newer and it's more powerful. And I also, the thing that I really miss the most from the Linux is gaming. I need gaming, and that's the reason why I'm saying the GPU pass-through in the Beehive, it's really crucial, so I can run the games which are not natively supported on the Linux. I know there is a Steam for FreeBSD. I tried before to play games, for example Dota or the Counter-Strike, and they didn't work at all. Like, I got all sorts of issues, I guess, with the drivers and the versions that are for the Linux player, whatever. Right now I have Nvidia, might be a different thing. I hope it works. If it doesn't work, we'll try to find the workaround and get it working. And after that, that's basically it. I just need internet, coding tools, Docker, virtualization, and gaming. That's it. That's my whole life basically in Linux and FreeBSD. And if I get it working on FreeBSD fully on this new machine, I'll be super happy. Thank you so much for the all support, for all great questions and the comments. Emilio, Florian, and Comfortably Numb, and Pedro, and there was someone more I want to pronounce the name, Magdi. See you soon in my next video. Goodbye, everyone.